Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you could play a song called With or Without You by U2. And it starts out with this cool little intro lick where you could play 3rd fret on the B string, and then 2nd fret on the G string, and then kind of alternate between those parts. And we'll basically be repeating that until you kind of hear that bass line come in. And our main bass line through our song is kind of a D note, kind of an open D string, and then open A, and then 2nd fret on the A string, and then 3rd fret on the low E string. So we're kind of doing a D note, A note, B minor, B note, G note. And you will hear this cool little lead part kind of come in around that where you could play 7th fret on the B string, and then we go to 8th fret on the B string, and then do a slide to 10th fret. Kind of this long sustained cool lead part. But the chords that would back up that bass line would start on a D major chord. Let me play D major. First finger goes to the G string on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the high E 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now, while you're on D chords in general, it can be kind of cool too to kind of lift off the 2nd finger, dangerous finger to lift, and make that a D sus2. Or you could take the regular D shape and add the pinky in on the high E on the 3rd fret and make that a D sus. So it can be kind of a cool thing to kind of play around the D chord. Or you could use a D5 power chord where you do the 1st finger on the A string on the 5th fret, 3rd finger on the D string on the 7th fret, and kind of work the A and the D strings together as kind of a D5 power chord. And then from the D, the open A string would kind of imply an A major chord. When we play A major, 1st finger goes to the D string on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the G string 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the B string on the 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. That can be kind of cool on the A2 to kind of lift off the 3rd finger and make that an A sus2, or an A suspended 2nd. Or take the A major chord and add in the pinky on the B string on the 3rd fret. Or you may gravitate towards an A5 power chord. One way to play that is to do the low E string on the 5th fret, 3rd finger on the A string on the 7th fret, and kind of work just the A or the E and the A string to kind of get an A and an E note out of that. And that sounds like A5 power chord. And then from the A, the B note would kind of imply a B minor chord. Normally you do this as a 2nd fret bar, 2nd finger on the B string 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the D string 4th fret, and the pinky on the G string 4th fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a B minor chord, and it sounds really sad. Now you may also want to think about lifting off the pinky and making that a B minor 7 chord. Or another way to play B minor 7 is to do 1st finger on the A string 2nd, 2nd finger on the G string 2nd, 3rd finger on the high E 2nd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E, that's another way you could play B minor 7. Or you could use a B5 power chord, where you do 1st finger on the A string 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the D string on the 4th fret, and kind of work just the A and the D strings, and that you can make it B5. It sounds really, really powerful. Or another place to play B5 is to do 1st finger on the low E on the 7, 3rd finger on the 9th fret on the A string, kind of work the B5 that way. And then from the B, we'd be going to a G major chord. When we play G major, 1st finger goes to the A on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the low E 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the high E string 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about putting the 3rd finger on the B string 3rd fret, pinky on the high E string 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Or if you're kind of digging on the power chord idea, you could do a G5 power chord where you do 1st finger on the low E on the 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the A string on the 5th fret, and kind of strum just the E and the A string together. It's kind of the G chord. So through the song, you could kind of follow that bass line with kind of a D5, A5, B5, G5, and I'm kind of doing 8 downs and kind of muting the string to kind of match the bass line with it. So that could be kind of a cool thing to do with the power chords. Or you could even try that with the regular chords. Actually, you kind of have D with the down, 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 A, B minor, G. Or a lot of times with a song like this, to make it more interesting, I like using something called a strum pattern. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we took the D and just tried that a lot. You'd have down, down, up, down, up. That through our main progression, we have the D, down, 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 A, down, down, B minor, down, down, G, down, down, chords. And on the D, you'd have the D string for the bass. On the A, you'd have an A string for the bass. On the B minor, you'd have the A for the bass. And on the G, you'd have low E for the bass. So you go like kind of play around with the bass. Down, up, down, A with an A bass. Down, up, down, G minor with an A bass. Down, up, down, G with low E bass. Down, up, down, D with an E bass. Down, up, down, A with an A bass. Down, up, down, G minor with an A bass. Down, up, down, G with low E bass. Down, up, down, up. Or another strum pattern I would think about, because I like funking stuff up, is a 16th note strum pattern. And what I mean by that is if you're kind of tapping your foot to the beat, right now we're dividing that beat into two parts with our down, down, up, down, up. That's called an 8th note. We're doing 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, what a 16th note is where you divide that into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And one of my favorite 16th note strum patterns is long down, 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 up, down, down, up, down. What I mean by that is if you take the D and do it down for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you do in the first beat. Then on the second beat, you're doing down on 1, down on 3, up on 4. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And then on the third beat, you're doing up on 2, down on 3. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, up, down, 1, up, down, 1, up, down. And then on the last beat, you're going down, up along with the 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all together, you got down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. So we tried that through our progression. B, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, minor, down, down, up, down, 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 up, B. To that, maybe kind of a bass, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, or bass, bass, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, or bass, bass, down, down, up, bass, down, down. So we tried it that way. And the D, A, D minor, G, D, might even be something you want to try with the power chords too. Kind of take that rhythm and fly that way. Or if you know other strum patterns or other licks around these chords too, it can always be kind of cool to kind of see what you can say with it too, kind of mix it up a little bit. And we'll basically be repeating that, although you'll hear these cool little lead licks actually kind of come out, especially in the second chorus, where you go 8th fret on the B string, 10th fret on the high E, 8th fret on the B, 10th fret on the high E, and then 8th fret on the B twice, and then 10 on the high E, and then 7 on the B. So 8, 10, 8, 10, 8, 8, 10, 7. It's kind of this cool little recurring lick that you may want to kind of play around with. And at the very end, actually, there's this one break where it's almost like a stop time on the D, and you maybe want to kind of figure out how you want to kind of stay on the D, like for the bass part return, until you kind of come back in, and you'll kind of hear this little cool melody when it kind of returns, kind of on our outro, where you go 2nd fret on the high E, and then open E, and then 2nd fret on the high E, and then 3rd fret on the high E string. It's kind of cool little pieces around the chord. D, A, B minor, G. So it's almost like taking the high E string from each chord, kind of working that as kind of a melody line, and maybe a bass down might be kind of a cool way to kind of bring that out. Bass down, bass down, bass down, bass down, B minor, G. So you want to kind of play around with that, or just kind of mess around with those chords and kind of find a way that works for you to kind of cover it. Kind of take this lesson and embellish it in any way you want to. But that's the basics of how you can strum through With or Without You by U2. So good luck!